The Gita 2, Part 1, delivered in San Francisco on May 28, 1900. The Gita requires a little preliminary introduction. The scene is laid on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. There were two branches of the same race fighting for the empire of India about 5,000 years ago. The Pandavas had the right, but the Kauravas had the might. The Pandavas were five brothers and they were living in the forest. Krishna was the friend of the Pandavas. The Kauravas would not grant them as much land as would cover the point of a needle. The opening scene is the battlefield, and both sides see their relatives and friends, one brother on one side and another on the other side, a grandfather on one side, grandson on the other side. When Arjun sees his own friends and relatives on the other side and knows that he may have to kill them, his heart gives way and he says that he will not fight. Thus begins the Gita. For all of us in this world, life is a continuous fight. Many a time comes when we want to interpret our weakness and cowardice as forgiveness and renunciation. There is no merit in the renunciation of a beggar. If a person who can give a blow forbears, there is merit in that. If a person who has gives up, there is merit in that. We know how often in our lives, through laziness and cowardice, we give up the battle and try to hypnotize our minds into the belief that we were brave. The Gita opens with this very significant verse: Arise, O Prince, give up this faint heartedness, this weakness, stand up and fight. Then Arjun, trying to argue the matter with Krishna, brings higher moral ideas, how non resistance is better than resistance, and so on. He's trying to justify himself, but he cannot fool Krishna. Krishna is the higher self or God. He sees through the argument at once. In this case, the motive is weakness. Arjun sees his own relatives and he cannot strike them. There is a conflict in Arjun's heart between his emotionalism and his duty. The nearer we are to beasts and birds, the more we are in the hells of emotion. We call it love. It is self-hypnotization. We are under the control of our emotions like animals. A cow can sacrifice its life for its young. Every animal can. What of that? It is not the blind bird-like emotion that leads to perfection, to reach the eternal consciousness that is the goal of man. Their emotion has no place, nor sentimentalism, nor anything that belongs to the senses, only the light of pure reason. Their man stands as spirit. Now Arjun is under the control of this emotionalism. He is not what he should be, a great self-controlled enlightened sage working through the eternal light of reason. He has become like an animal, like a baby, just letting his heart carry away his brain, making a fool of himself and trying to cover his weakness with the flowery names of love and so on. Krishna sees through that. Arjun talks like a man of little learning and brings out many reasons, but at the same time he talks the language of a fool. The sage is not sorry for those that are living nor for those that die, Krishna says. You cannot die, nor can I. There was never a time when we did not exist. There will never be a time when we shall not exist. As in this life, a man begins with childhood and passes through youth and old age, so at death he merrily passes into another kind of body. Why should a wise man be sorry? And where is the beginning of this emotionalism that has got hold of you? It is in the senses. It is the touch of the senses that brings all this quality of existence, heat and cold, pleasure and pain. They come and go. Man is miserable this moment, happy the next. As such, he cannot experience the nature of the soul. Existence can never be non-existence, neither can non-existence ever become existence. Know, therefore, that which pervades all this universe is without beginning or end. It is unchangeable. There is nothing in the universe that can change the changeless. Though this body has its beginning and end, the dweller in the body is infinite and without end. Knowing this, stand up and fight. Not one step back, that is the idea. Fight it out, whatever comes. Let the stars move from the sphere. Let the whole world stand against us. Death means only a change of garment. What of it? Thus fight. You gain nothing by becoming cowards. Taking a step back, you do not avoid any misfortune. You have cried to all the gods in the world. Has misery ceased? The masses in India cried to 60 million gods and still died like dogs. Where are these gods? The gods come to help you when you have succeeded. So, what is the use? Die game. This bending the knee to superstitions, this selling yourself to your own mind does not befit you, my soul. You are infinite, deathless, birthless. Because you are infinite spirit, it does not befit you to be a slave. Arise, awake, stand up and fight. Die if you must. There is none to help you. You are all the world. Who can help you? Beings are unknown to our human senses before birth and after death. It is only in the interim that they are manifest. What is there to grieve about? Some look at it, the self, with wonder. Some talk of it as wonderful. Others hear of it as wonderful. Others, hearing of it, do not understand. But if you say that killing all these people is sinful, then consider this from the standpoint of your own caste duty. Making pleasure and misery the same, making success and defeat the same. Do thou stand up and fight. This is the beginning of another peculiar doctrine of the Gita, the doctrine of non attachment. That is to say, we have to bear the result of our own actions because we attach ourselves to them. Only what is done as duty for duty's sake can scatter the bondage of karma. There is no danger that you can overdo it. If you do even a little of it, this yoga will save you from the terrible round of birth and death.